This car is so historically significant with the color combination and that top-of-the-line fuel-injected engine and the high-quality restoration. I don't think this car's ever going to be driven much.
Yeah, that's the sad part about it.
$200,000 for one of the nicest 58 Corvettes we've ever seen, Scott.
Rolling up onto the block right now from 1970, the Plymouth Superbird.
1,935 of these built during the model year of 1970. This one is fully documented as authentic. Standard 440 would be 375 horsepower. That's what it looks like. See the Super Commando name on top of the air cleaner lid. Torque Flight automatic transmission. They're fairly popular.
Previewed this a little bit earlier in the day. Just the presentation of this car and the restoration on it is going to demand a higher price.
And it has. We're at $215,000. We'll see where it ends up. $215,000, guys, is the sale price.
1954 Buick Century. Over the top build.
Perhaps the most unusual subject of a full-blown custom here at this auction, which is filled with great high-quality customs. And then you take the paint scheme and you take the build strategy, and you've got a very special build.
I got 225.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay, the Mecum rule was in effect, but that guy chose to go to only 225. And that's enough.
That was enough to pull the reserve.
Yep.
That is everybody working together. Handshake, Frank Mecum, VP of Consignments.
Yep.
That's the consigner there. And sold on the telephone, $225,000. This one also a very heavily modified car in every way. Powered by a 6.2-liter LT1. Now we say LT1, multiple generations of Chevrolet using that nameplate. This in its most current generation. 6.2 liters, 460 horsepower, plucked right out of a C7 Corvette. 8-speed automatic transmission. Aftermarket chassis, putting all top-shelf components on there. Boy, does that one also have the look.
Hey guys, newsflash, reserves off, $235,000. And there it is. The hammer drops at $235,000. It's a 1967 Ford Mustang. This is the Eleanor edition, a fully, completely licensed Eleanor car. The reserve came off $242,500. Sold.
428 cubic inches of fuel-injected short stack. Very high-tech fuel injection system from the folks at Fast. It is officially licensed by Gone in 60 Seconds LLC. They own the Eleanor licensing rights. Look at that. First of all, nice, potent 440 under the hood there, putting out about 550 horsepower. Tremec 5-speed manual transmission. But how about those exterior cosmetics?
Well, and I want to correct something I said in my preview. So it is a 69 Roadrunner, but you may notice it's missing that brake in the fenders and the quarters that are typically on a 69 Roadrunner. That's because the quarters are from a 70 Roadrunner.
Reminder, reserve came off to the $150,000, $160,000 range.
It was 165.
250. 250.
These guys are throwing some hard right crosses, heavyweight bout going on here.
This might be the number here, $250,000, currently the high bid.
There it is.
That was Hearns versus Hagler coming down the stretch there. That was nice.
No kidding.
This is a pro-built, heavily modified car. You know, I talk about state-of-the-art, and that is almost an understatement with this one. Supercharged 6.2-liter LSA crate engine. That bubble top Bel Air body style is a showstopper, but this takes it to a completely different level with all the modifications, Bill.
Yeah, I mentioned what was happening on the undercarriage when we did the preview. It's all aftermarket from the Art Morrison chassis all the way through. I mean, the foundation of this build includes the best of everything. And that adds to why people are bidding where they are right now.
Hey, hey, hey!
Reserves off.
All right, Professor, reserve is off
Yeah.
at 255 grand.
You got it. Thank you.
Sold in the house, Scott. That gentleman right there.
1939 GMC fire truck custom is on the block.
Cummins diesel power, the 5.9 liter version. Almost 85% of the sheet metal is custom fabricated. Very little of the 39 GMC fire truck is left.
Oh my goodness. Really? That's incredible.
Yeah, how do you get in? You climb over the seats.
I guess.
That's
Take
no
your
other way.
Take your shoes off and
If there's a fire, you'll find a way.
right. 255.
All right, $255,000.
Yay.
Way to go,
all
Bill.
love that fire truck, and
Good one.
congratulations to the new owner on that. Well done.
Here's a 65 Mustang total pro build custom, JK, and the bidding going according to plan, $250,000 at the moment.
Well, total pro build, and not only that, but how about built by the Roadster shop? Has to be one of the top custom car crafters on the planet.
265 to you. I'll do that for you. Yeah. That helps. Yeah. 265. 265. Yep.
That's the proper motion.
Frank Mecum's son, Dana Mecum's grandson, following in the family footsteps.
Well, JK, you predicted it had to be 300 grand, so at 265, that's a heck of a bargain, yes?
Yeah, what I said was anything under 300,000 is a great buy.
Yeah.
This is an Italian-built car. They were built in the 1970s, and they were really considered to be sort of the pinnacle of luxury. I call these neo-classics, where they kind of dip into the 1930s, a little bit of that style. And of course, it's the Elvis Presley connection, formerly owned by Elvis. And it's funny, you know, I say that we are literally right in the shadow of the hotel that in the 70s put Elvis back on the map, the Intercontinental and then the Hilton,
Right,
where he held
right.
all his shows. I just have to wonder if this Stutz was there underneath that beautifully well-lit
Could
car
be.
awning under there.
Right. Maybe Elvis valet parked it at the what's now called the Westgate.
Right, Westgate now.
$270,000
I'll call you in a little bit.
for the Stutz Balckhawk, formerly owned by the King, Elvis Presley. Pinnacle of the Corvette world right now today. 2023 Z06 70th anniversary convertible. It's got so much all wrapped into one package here.
Right, and that color is a specific color. White pearl is not available on a non-70th anniversary. So right now, this is the absolute top trim level available in a C8 Corvette.
And there goes the reserve. This car's going to sell.
Wow. Way past 100 grand over.
Right, like 135 over right now.
Yep. And as we mentioned yesterday, $275,000 hammer price. As we mentioned yesterday, the Z06, never mind the 70th anniversary. That Z06 is MotorTrend's Performance Vehicle of the Year.
Oh, really like this one. 1,935 Superbirds built in the one and only year, as Scott mentioned. V code optional 440. That would be the 6-barrel version with 3 Holley 2-barrel carburetors on top of that 440, bumping the power from 375 to 390.
And look at this, we're at 290 now. So good call by the consignor.
Yes.
Are we done?
395.
You don't work, you want to give 300, 295, 300.
Well, the consignor made the right choice to get the reserve. He saw get the reserve up. We saw a big bump. The reality is it's been a heck of a day here for Mopar Performance. The cars are bringing the money. I think that the consignor recognized that, and I'll bet he's going to go away very happy. Well, what it is probably the most anticipated car of this entire auction. This is a 2022 Challenger SRT Hellcat Redeye, but yet it's got a carbon fiber 1968 Dodge Charger body replicated and stretched over it, including the full Challenger interior. Take a look there. So you go, it's culture shock. It looks like a 68 Charger on the outside. You go into a modern Challenger on the inside. Done by the folks at Exomod. This is, like I say, this is a very well-known car. There's been a lot of magazine articles. It was displayed, of course, here at SEMA 2022 just last week.
Jimmy!
Yep, there we go. Reserve comes off. We're at $295,000. And you just saw it sell for $295,000.
This is a 1968 Yenko Camaro. Supposedly 64 Yenko Camaros made in 1968, put together in 68. This is one of 11 RSSS Yenko Camaros. You can see the current bid at $225,000.
Incredible. Yenko Chevrolet started with SS 396s. They installed the L72, 425 horsepower, 427 in 68. Keep in mind, in 69, they were able to get that engine installed from the factory via the Cobra program, but not in 1968.
$325,000 and a half.
Is that it? It is $325,000. 69 Yenko Camaro, 150 grand and going up quickly here. Not a surprise.
L72 power. That is the aluminum intake manifold. Real deal Yenko Camaro here. And how about rally green as a color?
Love it.
All right, reserves off. We just hit $300,000. Went to 315, now we're at 320. So we have a classic bidder battle going on, Scott.
Yep.
$330,000 for that gorgeous 69 Yenko. Sensation back in 2005 and has just gained in popularity. Supercharged 5.4 liter, 550 horsepower, mid-engine mounted V8. Ricardo 6-speed manual transmission with a conventional clutch pedal and all 4 options. Stripes, Macintosh stereo, painted calipers, and those gorgeous BBS lightweight wheels. Reserves off.
Oh, he did it. Got it done.
So now here's the question. Will the internet come back into play? Will a live bidder jump back in? Or will the hammer drop on that very patient gentleman right there? No, he got it, and look at his hand clap, $340,000.
It's a real one. It's a real Z06, one of 199 that were built in 1963. This car actually, I would say, was the groundbreaker for track cars, a car that you could buy from a dealer and with very little modification take it to a racetrack and be competitive. These Z06s had the fuel-injected engine, 360 horse, they're 4 speeds. We have tankers, 36-gallon fuel tanks in Z06s, and well, you can see by just about any level of judgment how perfectly the car is restored, outside, inside, and all around. Sebring silver, full hubcaps. No squawking here. This is the real deal.
There it is. A nice firm handshake on a $355,000 Z06. The legendary Dodge Daytona from 1969. This car in particular, getting well-deserved attention coming into this event.
A couple of reasons why, Scott. First of all, coming at us from the original owner. He's here bringing it. The car has been restored quite a few years ago, but it clearly has been driven. This is not a pristine show car, which I'm going to consider to be a big plus, because how many people actually take their factory Daytonas, one of only 503 built, and drive them for fear of, getting that pristine restoration? Not the case here. Let's remind everybody that the appearance of these cars, the wings, the pointy nose, the flush rear window, all to make that equipment legal for racing on the big ovals back in the day. One more. Short-lived program, 1-year only Daytona. This is one of 503.
Oh, $380,000.
503 were built in 1969. Fully documented. R4 red with that red interior. Standard issue 440, that's 375 horsepower. With that A833 4-speed transmission and the A33 track pack with 354 gears. And there's that distinctive red interior. Doesn't match the exterior at all. It's a completely different shade. In fact, the exterior red almost has a bit of an orange tint to it.
It does. And now the reserve is off.
Well, there we go. $380,000. Fist bumps all around for that 1969 Dodge Daytona, one of the winged warriors.
Wow. 2006 Ford GT.
513 miles on this one. That's tungsten gray. We see it's got the optional BBS forged wheels. It does have the optional Macintosh stereo. That is 2 out of 4 options. We see it's got the stripes. That is 3 out of 4 options checked off the list. We're going to crack 400,000. We're close. Maybe not. So there we go, $395,000 for another 06 Ford GT with low miles, 513 on this one.
And now on the block here in Dallas, we have a 2005 Ford GT. And already at $350,000.
First year for the reintroduced Ford GT of this generation. Only ran those 2 years, 05 and 06. This one with about 2,950 miles on it. All 4 options. We see the stripes. We see the BBS forged wheels. It's also got standing calipers and that Macintosh stereo. All were powered by that 550 horsepower supercharged mid-engine mounted 5.4 liter V8. 6-speed manual transmission, no automatics available. 200 miles an hour car right off the showroom.
And no reserve at $425,000.
450. What the? Just sold $425,000. Price new back in 2005 at $160,000.
Reserve is off.
Yeah.
$435,000. Wowzers.
445.
It's kind of a satin pearl sort of paint exterior with the black, gloss black trim.
Interior is a two-tone black and red. Hard to see through the heavy tint on those windows.
I looked at it the other day. It's sweet.
Yeah, you get it with all that white on the outside. You go inside, it literally change. You're like in a different world. There you go.
Yep, we got it. Congrats.
$445,000. End of the line for the mid-years. A big block here with side pipes.
Big car here, Bill Stevens. 400 horsepower, 428. That was optional. Factory air conditioning, 4-speed, 370 posit traction. Black with the red stinger. Tell us about it, man.
Ooh, baby. And the NCRS and Bloomington Gold lavishing the love on this Corvette.
The reserve is off.
415, 175 pound. Half. Sold 450. Sold 450.
We just sold it for $450,000.
2018 Porsche 911. It's a GT2 RS. Oh,
if you're looking at European high-performance cars, this is a supercar by any standard. 700 horsepower, twin turbocharged, 3.8 liters, 6 rear-mounted, of course. 7-speed PDK automatic. It's got less than 1,000 miles. Special ordered in that color Miami blue.
50 asking $575.
reserve came off at $500,000.
Sold for $550.
Oh, my
I will
Lord.
say,
There's a new sheriff in town, Professor Kramen, for the time being anyway.
And its name is 911 GT2 RS.
$550,000. Ford GT, the Heritage Edition, which anytime it shows up at an auction, John, it's got the chance to be the valedictorian of the entire event.
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. That Heritage Edition paint scheme, harkening back to the glory days of the success of the racing of the original Ford GT40s.
Look at
And
that.
these are the most desirable of all of the run of the 2005 and 2006. 2006 was the only year for the Heritage Edition. This one's a one owner with only 420 miles on it. Look at the pricing.
My goodness.
Wasn't that long ago these were in the $400,000 range. Not anymore.
Right.
640 looks like it's going to do it. Yep. All right, man, I'll call you back in a bit.
New cost about $180,000, but it took a lot more than that today. Hammer price, $640,000.
A 1970 Hemi Superbird, one of the rarest wing cars that we will see on an auction block.
This one is a 4-speed A33 track pack with that big Dana 60 rear end, 354 gears. FJ5 is limelight green, and there is your pistol grip shifter, those bucket seats, no console. 600 grand, we're off to the races.
Sold $775,000, Jordan Hunter.
1968, a car driven by Dan Gurney, finished second to Bobby Unser in the 1968 500.
Right, and actually won 3 IndyCar races in 1968 with this car, but not in this livery. Here's what happened. In 1970, after the car was a couple years old, it got purchased by Leader Card Racers, a 3-time Indy 500 winning team. They got the car. They modified it to make it more contemporary.
Well, in this case, the reserve is off at an even $1 million.
Power plant used in 1972 is that turbocharged 4-cylinder, 159 cubic inch Offenhauser engine. $1 million right on the nose, Scott.
Well, it's a late car, born as a street car, but it has gone through a conversion that a lot of street cars went through. This now has the SC or semi-competition specs. There you got the 427. That is the race setup with the single 4-barrel and what they call the turkey pan. It's a real Shelby Cobra with SC upgrades.
$5,000,003, $1,000,003.50. Reserve is off. $1,000,003, $1,000,003.50. $5,000,003, $1,000,003.50. $5,000,003 to pay $1,000,003.50. $5,000,003, $1,000,003.50. $5,000,003, $1,000,003.50. Last call. $5,000,003, $1,000,003.50. Sold $1,300,000. Sold $1,300,000. Sold.
1969 Dodge Daytona on the block.
Top of the heap, Hemi 4-speed. Give us some backstory on this car, the mileage and the condition.
Yeah, it's a little over 6,000 miles. Otis Chandler, who owned the LA Times back in the day, bought this car. It was used in show car, like World of Wheels stuff back in the early 70s, so it never saw any highway use. So you had a perfect car with an exotic paint job for World of Wheels. He sent the car to Roger Gibson. This is the first car that Roger Mopar ever done that he completed. This is also the first car that you had paint markings on suspensions. This car.
Okay.
This is over a 30-year restoration, and look at the quality of Roger's restoration. It still stands as good as any restoration in this house right now, and we're looking at 33 years, I think, ago when he done this car.
Well,
we're getting close to the end of the road here. There we go. All right, $1,300,000.
This is a 1967 Ferrari 330 GTS.
Only 100 Ferrari 330 Spyders were built, powered by that 4-liter V12 triple Weber carbs, putting out 320 horsepower, 5-speed manual transmission, power, 4-wheel disc brakes. This car is fast. This car is comfortable, and it was intended for high-speed grand touring extraordinaire.
1.45, 2 telephone bidders, and that's going to be the hammer price, $1.45 million. 1955 300 SL Gullwing.
That is that legendary 3-liter 6-cylinder engine laid down to the side to clear the hood with fuel injection. Very innovative for the time. Look at that green interior with the green plaid and custom leather luggage right behind the 2 front seats. 15-inch chrome wheels. Flawless black finish.
$1,600,000.
So there we have it. Now we know that 55 Mercedes-Benz Gullwing, the 300 SL, Scott, $1,500,000.
Put it in the record books in a record Mecum Kissimmee. The next car, a 1959 BMW 507. Late production in the overall span of these cars, John. This happens to be my favorite of the group. Such a legendary backstory, as we've already discussed. Handmade, basically a bespoke car from BMW.
Yeah, aluminum body, Scott. That's BMW's first production V8. The twin carbs, 150 horsepower, displacing 3.2 liters.
$1.6 million. Mittelgrün. In German, that means medium green, the only one in that particular shade of green in 1955.
And the color just absolutely works. Check out that inline 6-cylinder engine, 3 liters. It's laid down towards the passenger side to be able to get that relatively low hood down for aerodynamics. Plush, upscale interior, and that contrasting color. These were all 4-speed manual transmissions. Gullwing's doors necessary because of that high sill, part of the monocoque construction that was so landmark for the time period. When you see one of these platforms with all the bodywork removed, it's really impressive. Some old pictures out there of the assembly plant. And you see the way they went together, essentially hand-built. Very impressive.
Internet is in on the bid at $1.3 million. If you've been to the Speedway Museum in the last 5 years, 7 years or so, you may have seen this one on display on the museum floor. I'm talking about at Indy. $1.5 million. They're looking around the room again. The Internet has the high bid.
We know that will not take it.
Correct. It might take another couple hundred thousand. Who knows? Right. We've got a little bit of breaking news. The Gullwing did sell just off the block, $1.65 million. Is that correct?
That's what I heard,
John. Okay. $1.65 million. Okay. Ferrari 275 GTB4. Not surprising that we are already in excess of $2 million bid.
Unbelievable. Powered by that 3.3-liter 4-cam V12 rated at 300 horsepower. It's a 5-speed manual transmission. This car originally was black with orange leather seats. When it's restored, they brought it back to that classic Ferrari red, the black interior.
And there it is. $2.7 million, exceeding expectations here at Mecum Kissimmee. 1992 Ferrari F40.
They are always a sensation. Huge money, multiple 7-figure values. What makes this car so special was the fact that it was really the last car that Enzo himself, founder of Ferrari, left his imprint on this car. and it completely reset the performance bar for the time period. 478 horsepower out of a twin-turbo, mid-mounted V8. The car is bare bones. Look inside. It's just got the basic equipment, nothing luxury. It was hard-edged. It handled and braked and accelerated and blasted to a 200-mile-per-hour top speed at a level previously not seen in a street legal vehicle.
How about that? $2.85 million Ferrari F40 rings the bell in a big way in Kissimmee.